Hello everybody and welcome to episode 75 of the Crochet Cakes podcast, a podcast about crochet, knitting, and any other fiber art that catches my fancy. Today I have some crochet and no knitting to share with you. I have a crochet garment, I have a crochet blanket, and I have some crochet socks. And that is what I'll be covering in today's podcast. Now, I have quite a lot to go through and share with you today because it is, what do you call today? It is Sunday the 8th of March, which does mean that, guess what? I am going to be 30 in a couple of days. Now that I mentioned that, I realized that I haven't posted today's 30 before 30 on Instagram. And in case you have followed me on Instagram but haven't seen it or don't follow me, 30 before 30 is a series that I've been posting to my Instagram stories and saving on my highlights. I have missed some days that are not on highlights and I do apologize for that. But it's basically where I share with you 30 things I've realized and or learned before I have reached 30. And the series will end with a double whammy on the 12th of March because I have forgotten one day. I know I am one day behind. So at some point today, on the 8th of March, I'll definitely have to post a 30 before 30 video. So this podcast is super special because I'm filming it right before my birthday and I have a couple of things that I would like to share with you because of that. And number one, there is a giveaway that I'm going to announce. And number two, there is, I guess it's a giveaway or more of so of a whoever wants it, claim it type of thing. And I just remembered that I did not bring either the giveaway or the who wants it. So I'm gonna pause the recording and go grab that. I'm back, guys, and I'm going to share with you what the giveaway will have, or some of the things that the giveaway will have. Now, if you guys have watched for a while, you may or may not remember that I am a Knit Crate ambassador. And if you have no idea what Knit Crate is, there is a link down below that will take you directly to the Knit Crate website. It is an affiliated link, but all that means is that if you decide to subscribe to Knit Crate yarns, their membership boxes, then I get a little bit of commission that I save up and put towards the podcast. So when I do giveaways, I use the money from that to send out the giveaways or to purchase some little knickknacks here and there for giveaways. But anyway, the reason I'm talking about Knit Crate is because the yarn that I'm going to be giving away, I received through a Knit Crate membership crate, if I remember correctly. And this is made in the USA. It is hand painted by Doan Roving Yarns in Maine, and this yarn is the base Frolicking Feet, which is a DK weight base. The colorway is Enchanted Dreams, and you can definitely tell if you're watching. If you're not, this yarn has so many different colors just striped all around it. It's got greens, blues, purples, pinks, violets, and I actually have never unwound the hank to see what it looks like. But in crochet, maybe you could do some planned pulling with it or just test it up and see how it crochets because I've actually never used this yarn. What else can I tell you about the yarn? So yeah, there's two hanks. They're 100 grams and they contain approximately 350 yards per 4 ounces. So I would classify this as a sport weight just because of the yardage that it has, and it is 100% superwash merino yarn. There is no nylon in here. And I'm just going to zoom it up a little closer to the camera so you can see. Right, so I hope you guys, and oh, I haven't even told you what you have to do to enter this giveaway. Well, you know, just comment down below what is a lesson or what is something you have learned that you'd wish somebody had told you when you turned 30. There we go. And the other thing that I have to share with you, this one is a previously made garment. It's been made by me, and it is my Slytherin Jumper. It is the first and only knit garment that I have ever made, and I haven't really made another garment since. So yeah, it's called the Slytherin Jumper because it's got an emerald green as the main color, and then the cuffs and the ribbing for the neck and the body are both in silver. The yarn was crocheted with Ella Ray, so this is a 100% woolly garment. And you know, being my first knit garment, I'm not gonna lie, there probably are some mistakes, but like for example, one sleeve is slightly longer than the other. But the reason I'm including this in a separate giveaway, and it's not really a giveaway, you know, whoever is interested, the first person to comment in my blog, because I did write a blog post about using stash and working up projects that with yarns that we've maybe forgotten about. And this garment no longer fits, and I don't just want it to go to waste in my house. So if you head on over to crochetcakes.com, you will see the most recent blog post. It's called, I forgot, but the link will be down below, and it has curating a yarn stash. That is the title of the blog post. So if you head on over to that blog post, and the first person to comment in their interest for this garment, I will ship it out to you once you give me your address and everything like that. So the other thing I wanted to tell you about this is that it's maybe an extra small. Shoulder wise, it might still fit me, but the color work at the bottom makes it a little bit too tight for me. And the little yarn end peeking out, I hadn't noticed that had come out, but it is woven in. It's just must have become peeked out when I washed it, celebrating its life. So yeah, if you are interested in this, please head on over to crochetcakes.com and tell me if you want it. That's all. It's not really a giveaway, just whoever wants it can get it. So that's it for the little admin bits for the podcast. I want to apologize if I'm a little bit out of sorts, is that I do feel a little bit out of sorts. I don't know, maybe because it's the full moon tomorrow, or Mercury has been in retrograde. I don't know what it is. Or maybe, you know, I'm just super stressed from work. Whatever it is, I am just a little bit out of sorts, so I don't even know how I'm gonna get through this podcast and have it make sense for you guys. I'm a little bit at a loss, so bear with me. And if this is the first time that you've ever watched an episode, then I do apologize, and I hope that it still made enough sense for you to actually consider sticking around and watching future episodes of this podcast, or, you know, going back and watching other episodes of this podcast and seeing what normal episodes are usually like. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to share with you is what I'm wearing. Now, of course, the only thing you can see is the top, and this is just a black jersey sweater. I got it at a consignment store when they did this super sale on Super Bowl Sunday. It was $2. Amazing! And I've been nonstop wearing it when it's cold. And right now it's still a little bit cold. I mean, it is 65 degrees, but it's very windy. So when you step outside, you feel it. But the reason I want to show you what I'm wearing is also because I want to stand up and share with you what I've got going on as the bottom portion of this outfit. Right, so I'm just going to lift my sweater a little bit so I can show you the beginning. This is my peach fuzz skirt, and it's crocheted out of Knit Crate's Vitalana Aloft, and it is a cotton alpaca chained yarn. This skirt is a free pattern on the Crochet Cakes blog, and it is crocheted using, as I said, Vitalana Aloft yarn. It is a chain plied yarn with a mixture of cotton and alpaca. The color is like a very peachy color. It's I would say tonal peachy colored, because some areas are lighter and some areas are darker. the skirt is crocheted using half double crochet stitches, and at the end I just made a tiny Suzette stitch border. This is one of those projects that you kind of visualized it differently, and for some reason in my mind using the Suzette stitch border would make the border really pop out and give it more texture than just using a half double crochet stitch. Now that didn't really happen, but I'm still really happy with how the skirt came out. I ended up using 3 hanks of the Vida Lana Aloft yarn, if I'm not mistaken, and then I just needed a tiny little bit more of another knit crate yarn that I do not remember the color, but it's more of a blood orangey color. This skirt, I love wearing it. Kind of with what I'm wearing it today. I love pairing it with a darker neutral top, so either black or gray or even white as the pictures in my blog show, and then just wearing this skirt as a statement in and of itself, because I think it's just gorgeous. So yeah, if you're interested in any more details about this skirt, then as I said, head on over to the blog. The links, as always, will be down in the description box below. The other things that I am working on, because technically this is a long time ago finished object that I'm sharing with you because I'm wearing it. Sorry, my dog is just over here going crazy and begging for attention, which I'm a bit confused about. So if you hear any shaking or munching, it's just my little doggo, which you will have seen actually in the beginning of this video, because we took him out to Starbucks to try his first puppuccino. So I recorded a little bit about what he's like in the car, and I do apologize because the sun was glaring, but yeah, it's the best I could do at the time without losing my phone on the road. So what have I been working on? Well, I'll tell you, I've been working on a lot more things than I thought I would be. So the first of these things that I'm going to share with you, I know a lot of you have been asking about them and you're very excited to view them, is one finished sock, and this is my Laceweight sock. I'm getting a sock blocker. I'm putting it in a sock blocker for you because my mom gave me these sock blockers for a reason. Yes, she did. Okay, so as you can see, the sock barely fits the sock blocker. It's just very scrunchy, and that's because this sock is not for me. This sock is for my husband, and he's got wider feet. It fits him like a dream. His only complaint a little bit was about the cuff, and you know, if you've ever made crochet socks, the worst part is the cuff. While I sometimes may choose to knit the cuff, I didn't want to do that this time because this is Laceweight yarn, and I'm going to put it closer to the camera so it focuses on the sock. Yeah, this is Laceweight yarn, and I just didn't think it would look good knitted. So I did a crochet toe using single crochets, and this is my U toe. You can find it on my blog in the Vintage Waves sock pattern. That's where I first used this toe, and I've just used linked stitches. So I used linked double crochet stitches because I did not like the look of the extended single crochet stitch. I thought it looked way too flimsy, and the the linked double crochet does give it a lot more cushion, and I feel like it's going to be a much sturdier sock. Now, if you've ever used linked stitches, the nature of them is you really have to have a seam, but I'm working it up so that the seam will be on the inside, and you won't really, like when you wear the sock, it'll be facing this way on both socks. And then I just did a normal, for me, just short row toe that I used single crochets for. I'm still a little iffy on the single crochets with Laceweight yarn, but I guess the only way to know is to actually try it and make it and see what's up. And then the cuff was insane. I was not happy with the cuff. I tried the typical single crochet cuff, back loop only, that you work vertically, not horizontally. Didn't like that. Then I tried front post, back post, half double crochets. Didn't like that, so I tried front post, back post, double crochets. Didn't like that. I tried slip stitches. Didn't like those. And finally, I just settled for working half double crochets in the third loop. I believe this is called camel stitch, and it just creates a horizontal rib instead of a vertical rib. And I really, at this point, I just wanted something that would make the sock look finished. And I actually finished it by doing a slip stitch on top of all the half double crochets to hopefully just give it a little less stretch in the cuff, and so it would fit him well. And he's very happy with it. But that's all I can tell you about this Laceweight sock, because I have not even started the second one. But I am making it in Crafternoon lace and nylon blend. It's 80% Corriedale Polworth wool and 20% nylon. So if you're interested, I believe she still has some of the same yarn in the shop, and it's called Evergreen Thunder, which is a very fitting name because there's a lot of blues and greens and tealy colors in this sock. So that's the first thing I'm working on, and I'm working on it using a 2.5 tulip hook because it's one of the few brands that I actually found in 2.5. I know that Knit Pro has a 2.5 millimeter hook. I had purchased that one previously. I did not enjoy using it at all. So that's the first of my crochet socks. The second crochet sock that I'm working on is one for me, and it's kind of a revisiting the Vintage Waves crochet sock pattern. I have finished one sock. I did start the other one. I'm almost through, but first I'll show you the sock that I have finished. Let me show it to you off the sock blocker because it's the world's tiniest sock. This is really, really tiny. And the reason I decided to make it so tiny is because the sock will fit me well the first time I try it on or use it, but as it stretches a lot. So, as you can see, this is my little shorty sock using the Vintage Waves sock pattern and Lion Brand's Mani Pedi yarn in the yoga colorway. So, this sock, I did use my pattern, but there had to be some minor adjustments because the yarn is a fingering weight yarn, but it is significantly thicker than the original yarn that I used to crochet the socks, which was a Little Bean Loves yarn. It's a self-striping colorway called Narcissa. Again, I'll leave the link to the sock down below so you can see what the original one was made out of, and then you can compare it with this one. This one is a lot thicker, so I actually had to make the foot of the sock shorter. I think I used 2 rows less, and then I made a shorter heel as well, because if you stretch this out on the sock blocker, you can see that when you put it on, the heel will reach a higher portion. And then I just did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows of leg, and then I did a cuff. And I did the cuff using a 3mm hook. I did the toe using a 3mm hook, but the body of the sock is made using a 3.25mm hook. So far, all the projects I've been working on, I've used a really small hook. Now, so this is the first finished sock. And for the second sock, I'm past the heel. I'm finishing the heel. I'm about to just work the last heel part, and then I will come back, do my decreases, do my 6-7 rows for the leg, do my cuff, and this will be a finished sock. So hopefully by next week you will have the blog post for how I had to adjust my sock pattern to work with this Mani Pedi yarn from Lion Brand. Now, here is the ball band. It is 75% superwash wool, 25% polyamide, so it's a very, very sturdy sock yarn. The reason I chose Lion brand is because I have a sock, my first ever crocheted sock. Mom made it using Lion brand's Sock Ease yarn, and I don't know, but I have a feeling that the Sock Ease yarn was just a little bit thinner than this mani-pedi yarn. Doesn't mean that you can't use it for crochet socks, as I've just demonstrated, but you will have to use a bigger hook and adjust the sock patterns to work accordingly, taking into account that the yarn you're using might be thicker than the one that was originally used for the pattern. So those are all of the socks that I'm currently working on. I've got the Laceweight for my husband, and I've got those fingering weight ones for me. And the other sock that I should be working on is a knit sock, but I'll mention that just a little bit in the future of this podcast, and you'll see why. So the other two things that I've been working on, one is kind of sort of a commission, but not really. So I received an email from Knit Crate asking if I would please submit a design for them to consider for a new series that they're working on that they need patterns for, and they wanted garments. They could be knit or crocheted. And I believe if you tuned in on the last episode, I had already started a garment using this yarn, which I bought off Amazon, and it is a cotton cashmere blend. It is fingering weight. It's 160 meters, 50 gram balls. It comes in a pack of 5 if you're interested. I'll also leave the link down below. So I just gonna show you a little peek because it's not really finished. It's still a work in progress. But this is what I've been working on. It's a garment, and here we have what is going to be the front of the garment. But now I'm not too sure because I don't know if I like how the idea I had in my head is translating. I've got a couple of stitch markers to mark my places. This really gorgeous green one was given to me by Mary Grace in a package that she sent my way with some teas and this really, really nice progress keeper. So thank you, Mary. I do use it. And for this one, I've been using a 3.5 millimeter hook. I won't tell you too much about this, just in case, on the off chance that they do end up choosing the pattern, then you will see it when it comes out in Knit Crate, but not before. So just breaking protocol a little bit and giving you a sneak peek because I'd already showed you my idea for this yarn and garment. So I'm using a 3.5 millimeter hook for that, as I mentioned, but you'll notice that I'm not using my usual tulips, and it's because working with a 3 millimeter hook and then the 3.25 millimeter hook and then the 2.5 millimeter hook was giving me hand cramps. I'm not used to working so many projects at the same time with such a small hook. So I actually ended up purchasing a pack of clover hooks instead of just the 3 hooks I was using because the Clover and More hooks, Amazon had them on sale, the pack of 10 for $30, which actually ended up being a better bargain than just buying the 3 hooks individually. So that's what I did. Just, you know, in the effort of being able to crochet for a longer period of time without my hand cramping. But I believe that was also due to what I was working on at work during that time, which was using my hands a lot as well, and I was doing this motion a lot. So that was just really annoying. Right. So the other project that I've been working on is also already up on the blog, and it is my vintage flower square. And I've made, I believe I showed you this last week already. I've made 3 complete ones, and I'm using Knit Picks Snuggle Puff for this. It is a single ply cotton acrylic mix, which is absolutely scrumptious for blankets. Seriously, it's such a joy to crochet with. And now I'm just finishing up this square in another Knit Picks Snuggle Puff, and yeah, if you've been following me for a while, you know that chartreuse is lovely color. So I will hopefully have worked one in each color. I'm missing just this blue one by the next time I podcast, because I do want to start seaming this blanket together, or I'm afraid I'll never get finished. Now each square is a little bit, it's 13 by 13 if I'm not mistaken, so it's a pretty big square, and I'm hoping that I can make a decent size just lap blanket with it and not die of impatience by the time I work it. And to seam it all together, I'm going to be using Lion Brand's Comfy Cotton in just the whipped cream colorway, and this as well is a 50% cotton, 50% polyester blend yarn. Now this is a DK weight and this is an Aran weight, but you know me, I like to live dangerously and mix different weights of yarn, so that's what I shall be doing. And it's just all living in this huge tote bag that is about 7 years old. One of my friend's mom had sewn it for me, and it's now actually getting good use out of it with all this blanket squares going on. Now, what else have I been up to? I've been not doing a lot of reading actually, because it's been a really busy couple of weeks. I'm doing some different type of work at work, so on the breaks that we get, I actually like to go out and walk just to give my eyes a rest from the screen. And so I haven't really been staying in and reading. And when I get home, you know, there's the cooking, there's the cleaning, and there's the mad race to crochet so I can have this pattern, the garment pattern finished, just in case I get chosen. I can already have a sample worked up for them that I will send their way. But I still have been reading my Simple Abundance book, and if you're not familiar with Simple Abundance, then I will leave the link down below. You can purchase it off Amazon. I actually bought mine at a thrift store for $2, and I was very excited about that because it had a message inside from a daughter that had bought the book for her parents. So I thought that was really, it just moved me when I saw it, and I was like, I have to have this book. So in the Simple Abundance journey, one of the things she has you, or suggests that you do, as part of the journey is create a hope chest. And traditionally, hope chests were used when daughters would get married and leave the house. The mom would gift her a cedar-lined wood chest with everything she would hope would come out of the marriage, you know, baby clothes and things like that. So I created my own hope basket, essentially, and it's filled with yarn and the projects that I want to work up in the coming months. Some of the yarn that you'll see in here is actually part of my curating yarn stash and assigning projects to yarns that I've had in my stash forever. So I'm just going to share with you one of the first things here is the knit sock that I started last year for my birthday, and I haven't worked on it since. This is in the Alice in Wonderland colorway. It's a self-striping yarn, and I was making the Mercury sock pattern with it. So I've got that one going on. Let me take that out. The other one that I have here is this beautiful aqua combo. This is a combo of some yarn that mom brought me as a souvenir from Argentina, and tangled up in here is this yarn from Emmy Couture. She doesn't dye anymore, but she was an American indie dyer, and this is her Dumble Sport Base. It is 274 yards of 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. It's a sport weight yarn. I think this one might be a DK weight yarn or a worsted weight yarn, the one from Argentina. But I want to pair them together to make a frost shawl, which is a design by Hannah. And I don't know where I'm going to put all this as I show you. I guess I'll just put it in my lap for now. Now in here I also have some yarn to make a fingering weight mitts. You know what? I think I'll just show you the basket. I'll just tip it over. and so you can peek inside. So I have some fabric, Harry Potter fabric for a dress that I hope to make, and I have some, there we go, some fingering weight yarns for shawls, and I have the yarn for the Taroko sweater here as well, and I have my yarn for the 6 Wives shawl all picked out as well. So, as I said, this is just a little way of reminding myself of all the crochet I have to look forward to. So anytime I feel just a little bit down, I can look this up and sorry, I'm just checking that the camera is still recording. So I can look this up and just feel happy. And also it's a way to keep myself organized and remind myself of the list of projects that I want to complete, and just have that always in my mind about that. My memory card was full and I had to change it. I think I was just about finished talking to you guys about the hope chest and how I hope it would keep me in track with all the crochet things I wanted to complete. Of course, not everything in that basket is what I want to make this year. There are so many other projects that I want to tackle as well, but those are just some of the ones that have been on my mind for a while, and I would really like to get a move on them. The other thing that happened was that my friend Emma from the Potter and Bloom podcast, she sent me a birthday gift. And in the birthday gift were these beautiful jewels of yarn. And you can see the drape by just how they fall on my hand, because they are an alpaca silk blend. It's the Inca collection by Polly Jane, 70% alpaca, 30% silk, 50 grams, 219 yards. And look at these beautiful combination. I think this may just have to be a shawl. There's nothing else I could possibly make with this. I want to use all the colors together, and they're so soft and luxurious, and I'm actually not getting itchy from the alpaca at all, which is a good thing. She also sent me a beautiful card that I think you can see here to my right, but might be your left. I'm unclear, but it says, "I crochet so I don't kill people." It's very true sometimes. And the other things that I've been up to, I got a haircut, as you can see. I went in and asked for a pixie cut. I'm not sure what I walked out with, but I'm okay with it. It looked more wild than my other haircut, but you know what? I'm embracing it and I'm loving it. I also, this past Thursday, went to watch the movie Emma from Focus Features, and it was hilarious, guys. If you are a fan of Jane Austen movies, then I would highly recommend that you watch Emma. It had a great cast, and well, my memory card was full again. So I'm now recording from my phone. If you see a change in light, atmosphere, background, that's the reason why. I was telling you that I had watched Emma from Jane Austen, the new take on it, and even if you don't like Jane Austen or Emma particularly, but you love costumes and period dramas, then I would suggest you watch it. It was really fun and witty, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. But I don't want to keep up taking more of your time today, so I'm just going to finish off by reminding you guys to enter the giveaway by commenting something you'd wish somebody had told you before you turned 30, or maybe you're not 30 and there's something that you really want to hear before you turn 30, then also please comment with that down below. And don't forget, if you want the Slytherin jumper, then please head on over to the blog. I'll link what post it is down below, but just yeah, give me a comment saying that you want it, and you should receive it. Just please keep in mind that it is a size extra small, and it's got a little bit shorter than 3/4 length sleeves. Also, if you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed but would like to hear more about what I have to say, then please subscribe to the podcast by hitting the subscribe button that should be to the right of the description box. And just Thank you so much for choosing this week's episode and for spending a little bit of crafty time with me. I hope that you've actually gotten a lot of crochet in because I think I talked for a long while. But if you haven't, then I hope you still enjoyed this episode, and don't forget to have a very, very happy crafting week. Bye! Oh, this is a disaster! Right.